The Prime Minister and the French President have said that tackling small boat crossings is a shared priority for their two countries. In a meeting at Downing Street today, Sir Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron agreed on the need to go further in addressing the crisis in the Channel and to develop a new deterrent, they said, to stop the people smuggling gangs. They're expected to announce a deal at a summit tomorrow. But right now, I'm joined by John Vine, the former Independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration. John, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Matt.
What do you think they will announce tomorrow?
Well, I think they're going to announce some arrangement with the French to return migrants who've arrived by boat to France. And I think in return, what's being proposed is to find somebody who's seeking asylum in France, who's seeking asylum in Britain, who has relatives in Britain. And I imagine there's going to be a proof of concept, a pilot scheme to try and get something like that off the ground. And this is significant because for the first time that I can remember, the French are agreeing the prospect of returning some of these migrants back to their country. So that in itself is a step in the right direction.
That's what you think they will do. Is that what you think they should do, or should they be doing something else?
Well, I think what the government has said up until now is that they're going to rely on enforcement, beefing up enforcement of the immigration rules. They've certainly beefed up the number of arrests around illegal working. And they've put together a Border Force commander and teams to try and work with the French to tackle migrants getting on boats across the Channel. But as we've seen so far this year, that hasn't really proved very effective as yet. I mean, the numbers are increasing. And so that alone as a deterrent, enforcement as a deterrent isn't working. So I think what the government's accepting now, for the first time, this government is accepting there needs to be a new deterrent. And you know, rather like the last government, which looked at Rwanda as a possible deterrent, this government is now seemingly going to announce tomorrow, it would appear, some arrangement with France, which I think will be a good thing. The only thing is the scale of what's being proposed, I think, is going to be the key issue.
Yes. Talking of scale, it is the case that many more applications for asylum are made in France than are made in the UK, a lot more. And still, people travel through France and try and get here. You know, my colleague Adam Parsons has been speaking to people on the French side today, and the English language and our system of doing things, is certainly in terms of applications for asylum, seems to still be that big draw.
Yeah, there are tremendous pull factors that we have, that I think in Britain, we underestimate them. I mean, the English language is a very obvious one. I think a lot of the migrants come from countries which in many cases have links with the UK, or we've had colonial links with their countries.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, what Macron was saying was that he was pushing back in his visit. He was saying to the Prime Minister, well, you know, we need to do more to help the situation as well. And the French have a very particular view about, as they see it, the ease with which migrants can, you know, get benefits when they come to the UK. And the fact, of course, that in the UK, we don't have identity. We don't have an identity checking system. We don't have ID cards like virtually every other country in Europe. And so basically he was saying we need to get some of our acts in order as well in order to help the situation. So I'd be very interested to see if Macron gives way in terms of this pilot, what he asks for in return.
John, just very quickly, though, regardless of ID cards and what the French may or may not do, is there still a problem with the backlog of processing applications?
Yes, there is a massive backlog. I mean, I think the last time I looked, it was nearly 100,000. It may be over that by now because, of course, all the migrants who come across in these boats, they invariably claim asylum when they reach the shores of the UK, and they are added to the backlog. And also, of course, if they've got no accommodation, they have to be provided with somewhere to stay, and of course the cost keeps rising. So it's a vicious circle, really. It needs to be turned into a virtuous circle, to use management speak. And you know, the Home Office, you know, has really has to do its best to try and get through this backlog of cases. And of course, many people, although they arrive in the UK, they're not allowed to work at least for a year while their application is being processed. They're going into the grey economy. They're finding jobs in the grey economy quite easily. So, you know, that's again something that Macron has highlighted.
John, we don't mind hearing a bit of blue sky thinking, to use some more management speak. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.